So
So she's
Sale
talking
price.
about her
This
schedule.
is a test of the city of Palette.
Yeah.
then you.
And unfortunately, we can't see Judd. Do you want to push that camera just a little bit? I'm gonna reach it back at Jonathan. Ooh, that was like, let's do it this way.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started if that's okay. And start with roll call.
Back enough.
Mr. Browning? Yes, here. Mr. McLean? Present. David Jones, not present, not present. So welcome to everybody and thank you for coming here very much today. We're happy to have some guests. Miss Grace is with us and Arlen is with us. Yeah. And of course, we have our normal. It's doing a wonderful job. The next on the list is approval of the minutes from June. That's presented. Okay, do we have any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carried. And the only comments I've got is it's nice to see you all. Sorry we missed last month. But welcome to everybody. And thank you. I'm sure Jonathan is in pursuit of making everything better yet than ever. And we thank you, Jonathan. And you will thank you for what you do, sir, and your staff here. I'll stop talking and we will turn it over to public comments. Do we have any public comments at this time?
If you're gonna start with me, that's fine. Okay, I appreciate it.
So let me state your name and your.
Little background, most people don't know who I am. My name's Arlen Brewer. I've lived in Palaca 46 and a half years now. I've been involved in the airport for most of those years, peripherally. But, and the airport's interests are my interests, you know, even though I'm at the end of my actual activity at the airport, due to age and health and stuff like that. But for some time, I've been concerned about the airport being a good neighbor to Palaca. As you know, the airport's, we're blessed with an airport that's closed in, but that can also be a curse. And in the 46 and a half years I've been here, we've seen a lot of development on Highway 19 and St. John's Avenue. And so we've got some close neighbors. And it has occurred to me over the past few years, and I've talked to John Buell quite a bit about it, but I've never addressed you people about changing our traffic patterns. As I guess you all know, we fly a standard left-hand pattern, all runways here, which for runway 17, we fly right smack down over our traffic, turn into the busiest corner in the county, St. John's Avenue and Highway 20, or Highway 19 and Highway 20. And then we fly over the 19 Highway 19 corridor and come back and land on 17. 27, we do the same thing. We take off, we turn right down toward the hospital, fly out right up between St. John's Avenue and Highway 20 over to College, Viking Manor, all the developments, and come back in and land this way. Why not change the patterns to right-hand pattern so that on runway 17, we come down and we turn out here, fly our traffic out here over Woodland. While we have repairs the mail, we'll go back down 17. 27 by the same thing. We turn a right-hand pattern, flat over nothing but woodland in the Georgia Pacific and come back. And we impact very little build-up area landing this way.
What if you're going the other way?
Pardon?
What if you're going?
Well, the other runways, no problem. On runway 9, left-hand pattern flies us out here. On runway 35, a left-hand pattern flies us out over nothing. See, so basically, we do all our flying this way and this way instead of this way. It involves a certain amount of paperwork. Of course, you'd have to petition the FAA, get it approved, and have to put over the DOT or Florida DOT and so on. And it would take a year or so to get it accomplished and get the pilots around here to accept the new pattern and fly that way. My other concern is Embry-Riddle. For some reason, they like runway 17. Even when the wind is calm, they like to use runway 17. And I have, as not an aviator, but as a resident, live right down about here. And because runway 17 has a display threshold at both ends, we've only got 3,800 feet, roughly, visible runway. Embry-Riddle, their technique is to land halfway down the runway. When you're using runway 27, they don't land until they're right in this area down here. On 1-7, they don't land until they're right about here, somewhere between here and here. And then they do touch and goes, one after the other, one after the other. They start it when the wind's out of the south, even when the wind's not out of the south. They start at 6:30 in the morning. And they fly about a 20-second interval. And they make their turns from what we call the upwind leg, the takeoff direction, to crosswind, right over, well, almost over my house, but over the Walmart area, which is highly built up. You know, we got Carriage Wood, you got Rutland Manor, you got Point of Wood, you got Round Lake. The entire southwest environs of Palatka, right in this area here. So they're going round and round and round. One airplane after the other, 20-second part, roughly 20 to 30 seconds.
How many of
And
them? How many of them will win?
well, I don't know. It varies. I don't see many of the airplanes out here now. The other day I come out here and first thing in the morning, there were 5 of them tied out on here on the ramp, which surprised me. I've never seen that before.
How many?
I've never counted, but it's a lot. Yeah.
100, 200, 400.
I have no idea to tell you the truth, John. It's a lot when they're doing it. Now, it's intermittent, of course, but my main concern is
They want a lot.
these are all medical. There's one building, who in their right mind built this building here, I don't know, but that's a medical building. These are all medical buildings. These are all medical buildings. We got a retirement home there. We got a assisted living facility here. And the thing is, they're flying over these buildings after landing here and doing a touch and go. They're airborne by about the time they're about here. And they're passing over these buildings down here at 100, 200, 300 feet, very low. And that's, to me, that's a serious safety concern as well as not being a very good neighbor. So I think that we should consider banning altogether touch and go landings on runway 17. There's actually absolutely no reason for them to be doing it unless there's a very strong wind from the south, which is very rare. Here recently, last week, one night at night, they were just after midnight, 20 minutes after midnight, they were doing touch and goes on runway 17. Why that was, I don't know. It was calm wind, no wind, but they were shooting touch and goes on runway 17.
No.
So that's basically what I thought I proposed. You know, let's think about it.
Anybody have any questions for?
Yeah, anybody got? I can possibly answer them, possibly can't.
Maybe there's a lot more landings and takeoffs than we thought. That's great. Not that there's,
There's a lot of, yeah.
but we may not be keeping track as of now. We would have had three. Anyway, part of the way that you get money on these airports is by the amount of usage. I take off, landing, so that's 2 when they came in. He's I figured it.
I don't think I don't think there's much chance that we'll scare off Embry Riddle by doing that. Where else are they gonna go? We're their primary training airplane space, not Daytona, but we are. They're here.
But they do it. all.
And then we fly.
They do a lot of.
They don't have
a lot of-
Flagler's got, you know, when you'll see 1 or 2 planes here, you go to Flagler, not 2, you'll see 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, so I don't know. Not sure. And they do use it.
Oh, yeah, they use this heavily.
Yeah.
It's probably 50% of our traffic is probably Embry Riddle. You could probably tell you better than I could. He can probably, I got a good feel for that.
All right, we have a comment, yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a comment. I got 3 minutes, or we can wait until, and it's supporting Arlen's story here. So if you want to take the 3 minutes now, or we can have it at a meeting the next time, whatever works for you. Go down? All right, so. Can we pass those around? Okay, so in support of Arlen here, we doesn't know that I was going to do this with him.
That's fine. I appreciate it.
But Advisory Circular 9066C, which is non-tower airport flight operations on chapter 11, item 1, the traffic pattern is Airport owners and operators in coordination with the FAA are responsible for establishing traffic patterns. The FAA encourages airport operators, owners and operators to establish traffic patterns as recommended in this advisory circular. Further, left-hand traffic patterns should be established except for obstacles, terrain, and noise-sensitive areas. Usually dictate otherwise, which we have a noise-sensitive area. If you look at the picture, I drew out what the new traffic patterns would look like. And if you do the flip side of it, you can see where they are now. And so you avoid a lot of the areas where housing is. Also, I called FSDO, Orlando FSDO, because if you want to look at coordination with the FAA, that's a hard thing to do because they don't coordinate very well. Anyway, I called FSDO, left them a message, they called me back, and they couldn't answer my question, but they referred me to Atlanta. I called Atlanta, nobody answered, called Atlanta the next day. They got back to me and forwarded me to Tampa. So I got a hold of Tampa, I got a hold of somebody that knows what's going on. And it turns out that now, in recent years, it's a lot simpler to change the traffic patterns than what it used to be. There's what the FAA calls ADAP, which is Airport Data and Information Portal, where you go online, and I'm sure you guys know about this thing or know the way around it. It's a complicated website, which I wasn't very successful at, but supposedly in there, it collects all the information, and using ADAP should be relatively easy. And as far as what you wind up, you fill out a form on ADAP and submit it, and that's it. But then you have to do like the chart supplements. You have to do a few paperwork items. And you have to have an indicator on the airport ground. We already have a segmented circle. So all you do is put the markers on there, which would be relatively inexpensive. And so that's what I got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your
Appreciate it.
Any other comments on this? Andrew?
Feel I need to comment?
I hope so.
Really, nothing whatsoever. No, nothing whatsoever on the traffic patterns. Totally understand it. And some of that stuff makes sense. We're going over undeveloped areas versus developed areas. I just wanted to have everybody be sensitive because we use the B word here, and the B word is the word bans. Whether it's banning Embry-Riddle or any flight school or any activity anywhere, you're talking about state and federal airport policy and grant covenants that you've agreed to keep your airport. You've agreed to keep your airport open. You accept the millions of dollars in state and federal grants to every single aviation user that wants to use your airport, civilian and military, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So when you try to take any segment, whoever it is, it could be parachutists, it could be, the military jets coming and training at night, just to try and segment anybody. You're locking horns with national and state policy that you have to be sensitive to what you're even saying. Only understand what you're saying about Embry-Riddle and the amount of activity. You're get it. But Fernandina would tell you the same thing about the flight schools coming out of Craig, just zipping up and doing others. Especially those in Fernandina. You've got 2 flight schools in St. Augustine that fill 1331 in the pattern, and they're based on the airport. But you can pick
But
whatever.
it was.
Yes, Embry-Riddle fills up everything from almost from St. Augustine past New Smyrna over to Orlando. They're doing training everywhere. Everybody would say the same thing. I say everybody, other than aviation airports. It's just that word of trying to pick a segment and ban them. Those are fighting words to the state and federal government. So, and again, you've signed a grant covenant saying you absolutely will not do that. So
We don't want to be guilty.
yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the presentation. Any other comments or quick?
Just a comment, it's not banning Embry-Riddle, but maybe somebody could contact the school and ask them And maybe they can request, say, hey, would be very nice if we could do that. Be pleasant about it without banning them and see what happens.
Okay, that's a good point. Thank you, sir. All right, any other comments before we move on? Mr. Yule, you're up next, sir.
Sarah can take the initial, just kind of give a brief on a couple of upcoming projects. And then I can kind of chime in and flow with some of the things.
Got it.
I got going
So Matt, we only have one project really underway now and talk a little bit about
on.
next year.
Environmental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that'll be the upcoming, construction project and what's coming next. Because there's actually quite a few projects coming next, and I say next being in the next fall. Right,
So we have the pupil apron in the taxi lanes over here. That's the upcoming construction job to repave those. And we expect waiting on some FDOT funding, but that will expect it to come in November, at which time we could start the physical construction. And then the other project that we've been pursuing, but it's taken a long time to get the FAA to buy in and still waiting on a grant, is the taxiway E project, which is the taxiway to support future hangar development over there off Moody Road. We're expecting to have a grant hopefully by the end of the year. And then we could start the initial environmental and planning preliminary design for that project. So those are the two that we kind of have imminent, underway, been working on for a while. And then we have a handful of other FDOT funded projects, which funding becomes available in this fiscal year, which just started in July. And so those are, part of the funding becomes available for what's going to be a hangar. We talked about a city-owned hangar right over here, adjacent to the apron.
Jet Center.
Jet Center is the term we've used, so we're hoping to be able to get additional funding for that project. The way it sits right now, we kind of don't have enough to do the project we want to do. But the whole now, so we can start the conceptual design and try to figure out how that's all going to work coming up soon, this year. Start that, and then we also have a obstruction tree removal project. It's funded by FDOT, that just kind of need to scope that out and figure out what all that's going to include, but that's coming up with fiscal year 24 funds.
Three will be the same trees down there.
I mean, I think we basically be able to address anything that's a current issue. There's a few different locations. I have to go four different locations. Also, the FAA had brought up concerns about the fence over here off the south side of runway 9 being an object-free area. So that's probably something we would look at pushing farther back away from the runway. Not sure at this point what else might be any tree obstructions in that fence. Coming up soon here in the upcoming months.
And I just want to note one more thing. When we do that, we will do a really quick check-in on all 4 runway ends. No is the parcel in the group on the southwest quadrant. We'll come in with our do some really quick drone imaging. See if there's any individual trees, like it could be that one, that one, that one. In the process, if there's 10 more individuals to take down, have a tree removal contract doing it, so just get the 10 down. It doesn't have to be a big, wow, big area, just take down some individuals.
Couple others that, so there's a handful that have funding coming up here this year, 24, the ones I've spoken about, then plus we have the runway 927 extension study, the justification study. That will be coming up soon with the grant, and then wildlife hazard site assessment. So that's kind of a small project, the initial stage of looking at what we might do to help mitigate any wildlife hazards we have out here. That's it. Those are.
You talk about gate and security?
Oh, no, you're right. Sorry. The fifth one is,
Important.
Yule's have $100,000 to improve the 3 gate. So we'll be replacing the gates and some kind of access control improvements. Missing it?
I know, I just want to make sure that's a small one, but an important.
Yes.
Yeah, we need that. And for the sake of our, the customer's assets and just, we're here responsible for having a safe and secure airport. We need to, absolutely, absolutely. So, I'm certainly appreciative of Passero for helping us secure those dollars for that. A lot of airports can overlook, the employment and keep riding old systems, but we need a new one. They can get there.
Yeah, we switched around a little money last
Yeah.
time we met with DOT. We took $100,000 off a different project
Mhm.
because the gate security project was unfunded. So we said, listen, we've got to take 100,000 on it. I don't remember which project it was, but we took it out and moved it over because you have to have new operators. We've got to get the gates working. We've got to get the communication systems working again. And including the Moody Road gate. We
Absolutely.
want the Moody Road gate to have Wi-Fi connection or a direct line to the terminal building. We might have to put a jumper off a T hangar somewhere. We're gonna make it so you can actually roll in the Moody Road gate, come in the Moody Road gate and access the airport in the southeast quadrant. We haven't been able to do in a long time.
So what kind of nuisance animals other than birds do we know?
Coyotes,
Anything.
coyotes, a few hogs.
Here, I mean,
We have a gator out there, but it kind of, I'm not sure.
Probably need to stop talking, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Problem. I've seen, no, but you got water, you got other water birds. That's feeding, and you have the cowbirds.
Yeah.
The white birds go out, you got doing airfield mowing and it's tough.
Pasture egress.
Pasture egress. I'm from Mississippi, we just call them cowbirds.
Boys are in there digging out there.
that's a formal pasture egret. Pasture egrets are covered.
What do you? No.
What do you say, turkeys?
We were trying to have
Okay.
Anything we could do. There are problems at times.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna get some good recommendations out of that small study. That's gonna be everything from water. It's gonna be all about water, food source, and place to live. You gotta discourage what to eat, what to drink, where to have your residence. And we're not gonna be able to, just because of our location.
Right.
I mean, there's some things we're gonna be able to do, but let's be honest about where this airport is sitting in this part of the state of Florida. We're in the wildlife corridors and things like that. But there still will be a series of solid recommendations. Sometimes it's changing grass, changing mowing techniques, and doing different things at time of year. We're gonna bring in a specialist that'll tell us at least half a dozen or a dozen. That's right. That's right. And times of the year. So it's getting rid of water, food, and
Reuse water, dude. Cannon goes off every so often. Oh, I hate it. Those people live there. They found that some of the reused water and, the birds and stuff don't like it. The deer don't like it. And so you make them put. They'll come in the report. All this. Yeah. It's a lot of new stuff. So, I had one more question. So how are we with the new hangars? Are they all like done?
Yep. Oh, yeah, they're done and leased.
Least.
So, yeah, I was gonna report
Oh,
on
I'm
that.
sorry.
But no, you're fine, you're
Oh,
fine.
I'll wait for it.
But, yeah, we've leased all the hangars and actually had some new folks, that took on the hangars, and we also had some existing customers, that also exercised their position on the list. And, I contacted about 34 people on the list, starting back in 2018. And I got, but I will tell you, I think it was mentioned in a previous meeting that maybe we need to explore. Because that was a lot of people, that was a lot of conversations to get, hey, I know I'm on this list since 2018, I haven't even purchased an aircraft. You know, but the serious guys or the guys that are paying this because they have that investment in place or the asset. So I think it was mentioned in one of our previous meetings that we ought to explore that. And I continue to kind of research on, you know, because there was a lot of people on our list, and there's still a lot of people. I'm up to probably middle of the year, 2021. You know, but obviously we don't have anything available right now, but still, it was interesting to go through the process.
Did you get that question, you all? When is the next one gonna be open?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there is a lot of people that are.
Passed away, lifestyle, challenges, you know, you run the gamut. Some people were just stoked to get the call. Well, I called me about that. I got on that 2 years ago. Now I'm living in Utah. Oh, just want to make sure you got your shot, you know, but interesting.
We're gonna get our hats.
Whenever young lady out there,
Did you see when you came in, the new shirts? I've got one on the little mannequin. We had shirts made and it says, I did it at 28J, first solo flight, and a place for the date, your instructor to sign, and I think the name of the tail number or whatever. And those are selling very well. And in fact, somebody just came in and said this was a brilliant idea. I love these. And it was a client just coming in and he was like, this was really.
hats.
Well, the hats are there too. We got the shirts and we have these hats in royal blue with orange letters. And khaki, bobbing all live. And khaki with white, and we are in the process.
It's good.
We got black and red.
It's just.
And we also have hot pink with a light pink lettering ordered and a camo mesh with white lettering because we live in Putnam County. Thank you very much. So, but the sales are very well. So I can hook you up with a hat for the small phenomenal fee of $15 before you leave.
I want a camel.
See how quiet it got?
The camera are not here. We only have the khaki with white and the royal blue with the orange.
Looking as he is. I have this good looking on me. I don't have hats. I think I go away from. You always, we're glad you're back. I'm glad. Is everybody know that Mr. Johnson has taken back the leave position at the That's a big deal. Big deal. I'm tired. Okay, we got people apart if we need them. And we could do another fire. We got it in the party. That's not the house, man. Oh, yeah. I think they're pretty good. They're pretty good, yeah.
I know.
You're still up.
Okay, still up. So as a follow-up from our previous meeting, I wanted to kind of update you guys on the hangar rental adjustment evaluation. We have been working on looking at the regional area here, about a 50-mile radius. You know, and I know historically, you know, we looked at St. Augustine, we looked at Hurlong, but we're also looking at Swanee. We're looking at Williamston. Really, those airports are probably more apples to apples. And I think what I found so far, you know, and we were correct, you know, to really look at similar setup type airports. So more to come on the adjustment side of the house. But running parallel to that, we are also looking at prevention. I think it's fair to say that the maintenance hangar specific been kind of deferred a little bit too long. We want to make sure, you know, I think probably one of the comments soft complaint that I've got through operation. You know, we should be able to, yeah, and they shouldn't be hard. So, running down the lane of evaluating adjustments and rentals, we also want to look at, you know, putting in place a preventive maintenance program that's ongoing and consistent. So, you know, the adjustment, you know, again, we're gonna look at different scenarios. You know, we have some needs and we believe that having some degree of adjustment, not throughout the campus, there are some areas that really need to be addressed. You know, we have newer hangars over here, older hangars over there. Rates are probably pretty good over here. You know, over here, you got unit of new hangars. There's no sense of bothering that rate. But older hangars, maybe there needs to be an adjustment to kind of keep this type of preventive maintenance program going. We need it. So more to come. I think the interim city manager mentioned in our previous meeting that, you know, this will take a little bit of time. So, you know, we're going to continue to kind of focus on and make sure that the data and the decisions is pretty solid. And moving on to the airport update. So we have the report here that captures June and July. And before I go any further, I want to just publicly thank Ms. Smith because she keep us together on this program here. And even when our advisory board meetings give us less than 24 hours or so to try to pull the numbers together, she still pull it off. So thank you. Thank you. So you know, the activity, revenue activity is consistent. You know, the Jet A has been a little lag. Just due to activity. I will tell you, most of the guys coming in from the Atlanta, the parts in that box there, they're not coming here purchasing gas. They're already coming in all service. They want to drop off, you know, pick up their passengers and get out of here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, a lot of the jets, they only have so many times they can crank it.
Yep.
Okay. Or it's not like a regular plane. On the really good ones, they know exactly how many. If you crank it up right here, that's one. You go to that, go over there, and you get gas. That's two
Cycles.
cycles, and they only cycle so many times.
Yep.
And they are very expensive after that number. And so is there any way that we can get I know we were trying to, one that can do jet fuel for them, portable, that can come, they don't want to recycle. In other words, say if you're gonna park here, and we get the gas truck to come over to them, and jet A fuel. Now, I know we do the other.
No, we do Jet A.
Then
We don't have
do
app gas. You talking about a portable unit? For app gas?
No, for the jet.
Okay, so we have a mobile Jet A.
We already
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way.
No, we
So
have,
you got the mobile for that.
we have the mobile and you're absolutely right. They are adamant. Once they shut it down, they do not want it. So, yeah, they appreciate that, that service. I would tell you, we've gotten some requests from folks wanting the app gas to be used as well. So a lot of our peer airports have the option.
I was just talking about the jet.
Yeah, the jet is popular. Yeah, the mobile service.
Is there anything we can do to tell them we really need, we want to help do more for you at this airport? We need to sell the gas to do it. Be problem is possible here. They just don't want to stop and do it.
Right. So we will start picking out our services
Yeah.
to the airport. To be frank with you, the hats and all these things, this is all about the brand. Okay, this is all about really pushing out, hey, we're 28J, come over here and use this service. I think historically, you know, you built a pretty solid base. But now these guys are starting to come in and get a peek, whether it was during NASCAR time, you know, you got comments from folks saying, wow, you know, we didn't expect this. You know, so we really need to take an active role on pushing out what our services are. You got a 6,000-foot runway, you know, that's more than enough to provide the service, you know. So that's what it's about. If we need more jets coming in here, we need more activity. You know, that's how we're going to really be successful.
We had a jet come in yesterday
We're already studying.
and they called the day before because they're gonna be after hours. So we had somebody come in and they stayed until 9 o'clock last night so that they could leave. So in other words, I'm saying that because Buell has really upped the game here on customer service and trying to do what will make people happy and what will make them remember that they had a good experience in Black at 28J. You ready for the next one?
Well, as I stated earlier, the activity is fairly consistent. You know, Avgad is always outperforming Jet A, and I'll be frank with you, we have some dedicated followers there in that stand. Move down to the hangar, yeah, that's different slide. So as I stated to you in the previous meeting, so now we're starting to see the result of new hangars coming online. So as we kind of continue to tweak this thing, because this capture probably most of the new hangar units. So, you know, we want to have a fairly steady monthly rental, you know, and I think it's about probably 30,000 per month, you know, just your base hangar rental there. You know, which obviously you're running out to for the year. Oh yeah. So you're running out for the balance of the year, you know, then, you know, you really get a good idea of the impact. Do we need additional T hangars? Absolutely. If we can get them, we'll try to find out a spot to put them, but, you know, it's good to see revenue increases. And go to the total miscellaneous, let's go to the last slide. So, you know, June versus July, you know, things picked up pretty good, but also think that looking into it. Also know that part of that increase in July is new hangar units. Any questions on the report? So I have a couple of things I want to share with you guys that's coming up. And, one is a kind of an update. Probably one of the more critical and unique closure of the fuel farm. So we need to shut down the fuel farm and do a cleaning and inspection. Standard, fairly common. I will tell you, my motivation for doing it is it needs to be done about every 8 to 10 years. I'm not sure about when the last time. Some of you guys have been around a lot longer than I have. So we've identified a company that does the type of work. There are peer airports out there that's in the middle of this, so we're trying to get on that cycle. So essentially, we would run out the existing fuel there, hopefully through sales, and get to a point to where minimum amount that's remaining will come up. They'll put in an gas truck, they'll put the Jet A in the truck, go in and essentially just inspect it. You know, we want to make sure that the tanks are solid and you're not putting deteriorating inside, which obviously creates a nightmare out there. So the downtime is roughly about 12 to 13 hours. So during those periods of time, we're going to be trucks servicing aircraft, whether that's avgas or whether that's jet A guys. So just heads up, every coordination, customers, but we really don't get this done. But we need to get the bill low enough to get it done.
Mrs. Echo.
About $3,000 or $3,200 per tank. So, again, they'll come in with, with their trucks, the tankers and bags first, empty them, go inside and, do their sessions. But we really need to have this.
All right, if there was a problem, and they say we got to repair this, then you start the extended time.
Absolutely. We'll be pumping gas out of a truck for a long time. And that's a fine question, Mr. Johnson, because that's one of the unknowns that I cannot tell you is that, let me have it. We may, I'm not sure the last time they
I'd
were.
rather know than not know.
Right. So, let's be realistic. We open it up, have an address, and move from there. Nightmare scenario, you open them up, and it's like, uh-oh.
It's a matter. You open them up and they're messed up.
Yeah.
I say that's good.
Yeah.
Because that means you're gonna save somebody's life.
Thank you.
And this is your call because you're the manager. You're to protect us from. Protect us from us.
So just
I wouldn't
a
say
heads
it just
up,
like that, but.
just a heads up.
You're right.
And let me see here. That's it. So do you have a pet insurance application?
Presentation.
This is, and on the back, we have the tail line so that they can cut it off.
That's part of that merchandising revenue we're trying to generate right here.
Oh, we actually had a mom who bought one of these sleep in. I mean, it's really much better than we had expected. This is the 28J orange and blue. This is the khaki. And again, we've got the hot pink with the light pink lettering and the camo with white. And it's a mesh cap because of the heat around here. But on the second order, we made the logo larger. Well, it was a. Do you hear something?
Black and red.
You hear something? If we start that, then, the song that never ends. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. You have those for purchase today.
More of these.
I do, and I can get you one for $20.
Didn't I say you give two out? Can you give two? I'll give it to you if you want. Bring it to me. I'll take it. So this one.
So anyway, I just wanted you to see what we do have, and
Thank you.
you're quite welcome.
Very nice.
And you want a khaki?
Started it, those colors. I sold it.
Well, I can get them now, or if you want to just get them on your way out, it's either way.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna do one sales receipt for all of them.
No, he didn't pay 20. No. Are you kidding me? No. He probably gave you that. That'd be a fact.
Here. Okay, I was joking. They're only 15.
Well, you have them, why did you?
If we don't give him, pay 20, you ought to take 20.
The floor.
$5. So. 16 minutes. Sure. So what else we gonna talk about? Why? We just, know. As you know, there was a bill passed that allowed certain airports to, additional bill passed. Certain airports to get extended runways under certain conditions, rural airports, which we qualify. However, we did not get the money, the extra money put in the budget, and we are working to get that money put in the session coming up in January. Everybody knows it isn't. It's kind of like the ports. I struck it to the ports. When we got the designation from Bobby Payne, this would be a seaport. Everybody else, yeah. Oh, no, you can't, because they know that there's a lot of money, and every time you add a new one, somebody loses something. So you can rest assured that all the other rural airports that may not qualify exactly like we did would not be happy that we would get it, if that explains. it. So it is a matter of work, it's work in progress. I'm confident in January that they're going to add that to DOT. It's going to come a little different way. Instead of coming right from the addition. And if they do that, like they're saying, then we're gonna have- so we're working. That much money, you don't get overnight, but everybody's on board for this. No, if I can talk about it, it's not something, and we have the president of the Senate and speaker of the House, both want it to happen, so it shall happen. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
That cost me $5. So, anyway, that's, you want to answer?
No, I just will mention that the new law clearly states that funding percentage for rural airport that has a runway capacity, taxiway capacity, or transportation related economic development project.
Economic development is a big one, it's gonna be a big one
That's
again
right.
this year.
You also, so you have runway capacity project, taxiway capacity project, and a transportation related economic development project, with the runway extension being number one.
And with the new port.
So,
And we got a lot of things going.
They think I'm gonna work together one day.
We're good.
Or in the-
Who's never worked every day, I can tell you that, this worked a long time. If you look back, when we were first here, I went to Alan Bush, a short story, I went to Alan Bush and figured out something. I said, Alan, give me a copy of the airport. And he, good friend of ours, now over us, he's over at the, what in Emery River, what's that one that they had for a while at Hastings? He told me over there, he wants me to bring a picture and we're gonna get some money for the airport. And he said, I'm not wasting a picture. They had never given us a dime. You know, us. I said, just give me the blank picture. So I took one like this, actually he had behind his desk, and I carried it up there. I said, John, we need this, we need a hanger here. Guess what? She didn't stay. He got voted out a few years later, but we got a lot of things, and all of these things came from you, a lot of people, and Tommy Stillwells and all that out here working and believing. You can get it from the politicians if you get it in front of them. But there's always, everybody's trying to get in front of them. Now, speaking of that, Secretary of DOT has given me 2 dates. I couldn't do them. One, I was in the Keys, and the other, we couldn't, but we're looking at some dates pretty close. The next couple of weeks for him to come in here, and Andrew and I are going to have him with whomever everybody wants to here. We'll start at the airport and show him. So he'll come in and probably have the district secretary a little entourage, and then we'll have lunch, show him maybe the Orange Board. So that'll bring you, is that fair update?
yes, sir, we'll show them runway capacity
We're ready.
and a transportation related economic development project.
Absolutely.
Ready to go.
So, and everybody, if we do get
Just
it,
don't say shovel ready.
and he's a great guy and a good friend. And the more we have, we need to stay with him. Bobby's going to be, this will be his last session. So in January, he'll be able to help us, but he won't be there. So it's important that everybody gets to know this guy. So you can pick him up and say, hey, once you know him, if he calls, I don't like this road isn't done. Go do. So we need that done. Team effort.
The mayor might have something.
No, she does not.
She just said something.
There you go.
I did think she was next in line. Jonathan, you got anything?
Yeah, just a quick budget. So, we're putting the final touches, on the city budget, including the enterprise airport fund. One thing to note, I think everybody knows this, but I'll remind them, this year, we've got multiple debt service payments that roll off. By my estimation, it's a little over 130,000, so that should help. There still is a liability on the books of the general fund. My recommendation to the commission is to recognize it, but not seek repayment this year. Let the airport continue to reinvest in itself.
So it's done, it's paid off, it's.
Not all of them.
No,
Just a couple of them.
I just mean,
2013 terminal and 2013 T.
okay, so the big one.
Yeah.
140,000, something, and that was.
Long time coming.
Yeah.
I remember they put them on it, one at a time. And that was John Micah's thing, that's how we. And it takes a long time. Thank you. Keep doing that. We're all gonna be down there with posters saying, make him permanent. That's right.
I'll be everyone as strong as I say.
He said,
About John,
We needed the airport like this, just because you don't want to do
it's
it.
not going anywhere down.
Did your pinky promise?
It'll still be, this is.
What does the
Promise, I
board
don't
think
know.
about
Too
the
many times.
presentation about runway changing? And what do we do in order to facilitate that?
He's got to process the information.
Yes, I think we'll have to have some time. Go through.
So that would be like at the next meeting. How does that work?
That'll be a month of thinking.
That's some more, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, there's hardly any negatives involved in it. We already have a traffic pattern on both sides of the runway. We'd just be eliminating and using it for both directions on the other side. So it'd be a good neighbor policy. Later on down the road, when we ever get conflicts, we can refer back to how we try to be a good neighbor.
Thank you very much. Sir. We will keep that
Right.
in the circle. All right, do we have anything else? Oh, I had one other question. So what other debts do we have?
Have that document up anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm slow.
Might be able to tell you after the meeting.
Well, that's all right, that'll be good.
Next
Next meeting will be fine, yes. All right, well, I think we can stand adjourned then. Thank you, everyone. Please eat a sandwich. Please have some drinks.
That's a nice layout.
Oh, yeah.
Nice layout.
We'll see you next
Who
month.
did that?
Same place.
Who did
Mr. Yule.
better than us? You did.
Mr. Yule is responsible.
You know what he said? He said next time we get it.